Going on, everybody? So this one's kind of by request. Um, I did a video a while back where I spoke about the most dangerous prisons, the most dangerous gang, and the most dangerous inmate that I met and that all that I've experienced during my 21 years. I've gotten asked repeatedly to do one about the most dangerous white guy that I ever met. And it took me a while to put it out, man. I've even had conversations with guys. This is a tough one. And it isn't because of lack of people. There's a so I gotta I'll just speak about a few different guys. For one, when I first came down, there was a legend in the Ohio prison system. And his name was Super Honky. His name was like Ed Dickey or something like that. But they called him Super Honky. And he was an old school AB dude. Been locked up since the 70s and shit. When I started doing my time, he was in his late 40s, early 50s by then. But he was still a very dangerous dude. He was real big, but he was dying by then. But the respect, I ain't gonna say never because I've definitely seen people command respect, but from the police on down, like everybody just respected the hell out of this dude. Another one, and this is probably who it was a toss up between this next guy and another one who I'm gonna talk about. But this dude, his name's Trip, Bo Triplet from Columbus, Ohio. He was kind of like an honorary Toledo cat. He was in my age group, and we were kids, man. We all got locked up at 18 and 19 years old. And I've explained we had a group of, there was maybe 15 to 20 guys, maybe a little more than that. We were all right around the same age group. We were all from Toledo, except for Trip. Trip was a white dude from Columbus who became one of the most powerful Latin kings in the state of Ohio. I'm going to do a video about this. The reason he was able to get in was because he's Indian. He's got Indian in him, a lot of Indian. He looks part Hispanic. I mean, he's a white dude though. Um, he had the heart of a lion from the time he was 18, 19 years old. Like this kid was in it. And when he first started getting involved with the Latin Kings, he changed. He went from somebody who was always scrapping. It was almost like he trained himself to get into this. He was doing 18 years. When he was 17, him and a friend of his thought they were burning down an abandoned house. They were just kids doing stupid shit and decided one night to burn down an abandoned house. Well, there were some homeless people inside. And one or two of them died. I think it was one. But they ended up giving Trip 18 years for that. And when they gave him the time, I think he was 17 when he caught the case. And he was 18 when he actually got to the joint. And I met him right away. He came to Toledo. He got to Toledo maybe a year and a half after me. And we hit it off right away. Our group of friends, we was all into sports. We all played flag football at other joints, but we played basketball, softball, handball. Um, these were our guys, and immediately, right off the bat, he was not barring anything, and he was a scrapper, man. He was fucking shit up, and eventually he dove headfirst into the Latin King shit. And when he did that, he took his violence to a whole nother level. And Trip was knocking shit out. People was afraid of Trip. I know of stories where like he's had to go to war. He went to the war with the Bloods at the Toledo prison. Now, granted, it was still a single man cell institution at the time. There was only Seaside, I think, had just opened up, or it was right before Seaside opened. There wasn't many people there. It was still like in that 500-600 people range. And people was still not really trying to push the violence to a far extreme because they didn't want to get rolled out of that prison. I think had Trip got in this situation later on in 2010, 11, when prison really got off the hook, I think it would have tested him different. I think for sure he would have answered the bell, but it would have tested him different. But at the time, a lot of people were hesitant to get sent out because everybody's from there. It's super sweet. People had shit going on, but he ended up going to war, and there was like, he only had like 5 homies with him. Once he started gang banging, we're still riding with him. Yeah, we're still got his back, but we can't involve ourselves in gang shit. And he started getting involved with gang shit. And he had like 5 or 6 guys with him, and they went to war with the Bloods. And they were outnumbered by a lot. And he ended up getting rolled out and bounced around. I know I caught back up with him in Marion. And when I caught up with him in Marion, like 7 years had passed since I had seen him. And he was one of the top dogs. He was one of the top 5 Latin Kings in the state of Ohio. And he's white. And it was, your credit card in the joint are your hands. I tell that to everybody. These dictate everything. If you can fight, you can have everything in the joint. And he could, and he did. And it all worked out for him, and he's home now doing great. And then last but not least is another AB dude. His name's Sammy Bittner, and they call him White Beast. He's from Cleveland. And I watched this dude get jumped in Lucasville, and this is a true story. This is the honest to God's truth, so help me God. He got jumped by 3 ABs, because at the time, I don't know if it's still going on or not, the ABs fractured. It was kind of like old school ABs versus this new younger wave of ABs. And they were at war, and it was pretty much all at Lucasville. And they were killing each other. They were stabbing each other up, and it was a ferocious war. But I watched Sammy Bittner get jumped in the back in the kitchen. He's fighting 3 guys, and they're stabbing him. They all 3 got little pokers, and they're stabbing him, and he's beating them. He's beating their ass. He ended up beating all 3 of them. And he didn't even realize, I don't know if he realized he was stabbed or not because of his adrenaline until after he got handcuffed and put on a wall. But they had stabbed him over 20 times. He was a tank. That dude's been kicked out of at least 10 prisons in Ohio. Kicked out of high security prisons. Toledo built him his own cell. They would put him in a cell, and he would rip the whole cell apart. He would rip the bunk beds off the wall. He would rip the sink out of the wall. He'd kick the toilet off the wall, the shelves, and then he would knock the windows out and he would throw everything he could fit out the window onto the yard. He would just toss the bed frame, the sink, everything he could shove through it out. And so they built him what they called a strong cell, where they had to put everything in his cell was welded in cages so he couldn't even access it. Like his light was covered with a cage. His bunk was soldered and like welded and caged and all types of crazy shit. And he couldn't go in any cell but that cell. The whole time he was in the hole. He sat in the hole for a long time, man. I want to say he sat back there for over a year. They rode him to Lucasville for excessive violence at Toledo. And it was at a time when it was before they double bunked it. So it wasn't a violent prison at the time. It was still in its get money and fuck female CO days. And he was just off the hook. He was terrorizing that place and fucking people up. And they ended up fucking somebody up. They booked his ass. They upped his security. And he had to sit in the hole at Toledo for at least a year before he got to Lucasville. And the whole time he was in the hole, he fucking absolutely terrorized that place and tore that motherfucker down. And people feared him. When he got to Luke, that shit happened with them ABs, and they fear him there. They feared him. I think he's still there. The story about Sammy Bittner's fucked up. There's like 20 brothers, and they're all inbred. Like their dad is their grandpa, and it's crazy. And he broke the story down himself. And he's got a twin brother that was there, and he had another brother named Rocky that was there. And you wouldn't even know they was related. Rocky was the biggest snitch and punk in the prison. Sammy hated him. And his twin brother was kind of the same. Super soft, super pushover, super weird. They were slow. Sammy was slow. But he just had that slow strength. And he used to put, I ain't gonna lie to you, Sammy Bittner was probably no taller than 5'7". He's about 5'7", 5'8". He was super stocky. He's just built like a tree trunk. And I promise you, White Beast is his name. Goofy motherfucker got White Beast. He got white on one side, Beast on the other. But it's written backwards. Like when you look at it, it spells white backwards and the other side Beast backwards. He got it tattooed on the wrong side and they tattooed it. It's backwards. He's an idiot. Like everything about this dude is just, he'll spend the rest of his life in prison because that's where he thrives. I think if I had to rank the three in terms of the most dangerous, I can't really tell you too much about Super Honky. I brought him up because I knew about his reputation, and I actually had the chance to meet him when I first came down. So he was kind of like an honorable mention. I can't really speak on him getting active because I didn't really see it. I know people were definitely afraid of him. He definitely commanded respect, and the COs let him do whatever he wanted. The COs was afraid of him, and so yeah, I when you do as much time as I done, you see it. You can tell how interactions go. People talk to him a little different than they talk to other people, and that including the staff. The staff watch their mouth. So, but out of the other two, I would say, I think if Sammy Bittner and Trip fought, I think it would be a hell of a fight. I think it'd be a hell of a fight. I think Trip would have to kill Sammy. Because I don't think Sammy would quit. I think Trip would win in the beginning. And I think if it lasted, Sammy would get over just on pure endurance. Because he's a psycho. I think they're equally dangerous. I think in terms of once it happens. But I think Sammy's a lot more of a loose cannon. which by default makes him more dangerous. Their ability in terms of the violence and what the damage they're going to cause, I would give the, if you were just to fight one of them in a regular heads up fight, I think Tripp is the better fighter. But I think Sammy is more violent. Sammy has that loose screw that just sets him apart. So, again, I could sit here forever and name different guys. And my dude Bubby, who just recently passed away, he's another one that used to knock shit out. But in my personal experience, those are the three. Those are the three white guys that stand out to me that were the most feared and and respected out of it. I mean, I bet Redbone and shit like that. Redbone's a legend in Ohio. Allegedly he's the guy who started the Aryan Brotherhood in Ohio back in the 70s. He had came from California to Ohio. That's the story. I don't know if it's true, but I do know Redbone is a legend in Ohio prisons. And I've been in Lebanon, Lucasville, and Toledo with him. But he was an old man. He had power just because of who he was. He was the head of the ABs in all of Ohio. But I never really seen him do no damage. These are the guys I'm talking about who I seen put in work and do big time damage. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button. Share the video. Help get the channel booming, y'all. Until next time, Mr. Hoodie Man, stay safe. I'm out, y'all.